It's Sunday, and about 10 to 7. I started a little while ago. Camped early, 6:30, because there was a large group of women and then a couple other gals who I knew were going to go to the next campsite that had water. So I stopped at the first campsite and went to bed early and heard someone in the night, later on, set up camp tent next to me. They're quiet. Woke up this morning and it was Conrad and Catherine. So 22-mile day yesterday, which was almost halfway to Cascade Locks. There's a big area of somebody came in with a chainsaw and cleaned it all up. Appreciate that. Tons of sawdust. And there's what's left of a PCT marker embedded in the tree now. And this is probably the same, same creek I just got water out of. Oh well. Didn't bother to filter it. I'm going uphill now, but I have a lot of elevation to shed today. It's something like something around 3,700 feet to get down to the Columbia River, which is the border between Oregon and Washington. So once I get this climb over with, it's just going to be a steady downhill, probably roller coaster downhill type thing. So it's no wonder it's going to be steep around the Indian Springs campground. All right, mosquitoes. There's a whole complex of trees came down right there. One must have brought some other ones with it. A lot of healthy pine here. Plenty of underbrush, little white flowers. Actually, flowers of all different colors. Early summer and the wildflowers are still out. It's another kind of protected area. I've run into several different types. Apparently the Bull Run Lake is part of the water system for Portland, and they don't want people in there mucking around. Well, it's the first blowdown I've seen in days. Maybe it's too big to chainsaw, or maybe the maintainer crew did their section. This is a different section. Fortunately, all this vegetation that's leaning out over the path is dry. Watch me end up getting soaking wet. If it was wet, then my pants just be drenched. But it's dry so far. Okay, this is another sign that maybe I'm in a wholly different section for a maintenance crew, because this hasn't been touched either. Another big boy. Yep. Okay, I'm just going to guess then that that's as far as the crew made it, or that that was their section back there, and this is another section here. Okay, here we go. Now you're looking into the sun. Yeah. Could be a boat. I just saw a shiny, yeah, that's a boat, because something shiny glinted off the sun off of that. So we'll be fishing early. Yep. This is what the trail maintainer's been dealing with. I guess I'll be going around to the right because I'm not going under, I'm not going over, and the left is too far, so over here somewhere. This guy's a monster. Tree debris stacked up higher than me. Left doesn't look good, right looks better. Alright, right. This appears to be the campsite at 2119. So I've come about 3 miles. That means I'm about a mile from a spring. My next water source, which is up at 2120. Just mountains covered with pine trees as far as I can see. I mean, I could be in Switzerland for all I know. Austria. I'm in the shadow here on the west side, and the east side of that mountain's getting full sun. What time is it? 8:15. There she is, Mount Hood. I think over here on the left, that's down the Indian Creek area that I'm going to be descending down into pretty soon. And then that'll take me on up to the river and Cascade Locks. He's pretty. Yeah, I like these guys with a single white flower. It's not a, these aren't maple leaves. These just, it's a 5-pointed leaf. Another pile of boulders. Patches of green moss growing on them. Back in the woods. So I've come around the corner a bit more on this mountainside, and now I'm up to 3 big snow-covered peaks, old volcanoes. That was the first one, and then he's like northwest. This one's pretty much due north, and then this guy. Alright, so I'm on the right trail here, Indian Springs, 435. And that takes me 2 miles down to Eagle Creek Trail. Ah, there's another picnic table and water. So I'm off the PCT and I'm on the Indian Springs Trail. It's a 2-mile trail, which takes me to the Eagle Creek Trail. So the whole thing's like 15.5-mile alternate. And it ends up down at Cascade Locks, joining up the PCT there. It's supposed to be a very beautiful trail, so I'm looking forward to that. The first part is very steep. Mark O. Hatfield Wilderness. I'm curious to see how the steep part goes. I have to put the camera down because it's just too slow a going. Not using my sticks. And the trail is not as wide and well maintained as the PCT, but I think it gets a lot of use, so that'll help. Right here's good. Right? It's not steep at all. It's easy. Well, so far so good coming down this alternate. It's been steep, but not dangerous steep at all. I can see why all the southbounders are talking about how steep it is, because they have to climb up the stuff. This doesn't show it, but the trail's quite nice there. Over here, I'm going to hit this boulder field, and then hopefully end up in the woods on the other side. And if it continues like it has been, then it's been good. I don't mind it being steep, just as long as I'm not on the edge of a mountainside having to deal with it and worrying about a misstep. Well, it would appear that I've reached the Eagle Creek Trail. All right, back to a regular trail. My knees will be appreciative. They take a bit of a beating in the fronts and bottoms of my feet. What I have to do is tie my shoes extra tight coming down a steep hill like that, because otherwise my feet slide around, and every step they just jam right into the front of the shoe, and eventually the outsides of my feet get bruised. Just passed 4 ladies. Might have been 2 or 3 generations actually. They're on their way down. There's a nice camp spot. Great place for a fire. Ah, yeah, that's good stuff. It's another nice series of small waterfalls and pools. And just on down the valley. A lot of tributaries for this Eagle Creek. It might be quite big by the time I cross it down at the bottom. I'm hoping it's got a bridge and not too tough a crossing. Well, I believe the worm has turned. I'm headed back north. Back there was a juncture. I thought I would just make a sharp right and come back, but there was a juncture, another trail that went on up, Eagle Tanner. And so I'm sticking with this and hoping I've made the right call. The Eagle Creek Trail. Pretty sure it is. At least I'm heading north. But it's a jungle in here, you know? It's like I'm in North Vietnam. Slow going, but I'm going. Very cool. Oh, up above my head too. Moss-covered trees. It's got to add some weight. Those limbs, well, they still got some leaves on the end. Okay. It's an arboretum of moss. Someone's carved this all out. Eagle Creek. It's got a big pool in this spot. A couple hikers. I've only seen a few people. It's quite deep there. Been a lot of camping sites along the creek. But the trail itself is a tough way to go. Up earlier I could make good time. Down here next to the creek, a lot of slippery rocks. The trail is just broken rock, sharp, uneven. So I'm just picking my way through. This part's not so bad because it's not wet. Got this steel cable. Trail's maybe 2 feet wide, 18 inches in spots, and then a sheer drop off. Have you guys been through yet? Yeah. So you came that way? We came from there, that side. So we're about to go back. Oh, this way? That looks kind of thin over there.
It is. That's why we're waiting.
Wow, that was kind of wild. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it was exciting, and I'm glad to have it done. The path wasn't as thin as I thought it would be. It's 4:20. I just finished dinner here on Eagle Creek. It's a beautiful spot. There's a guy swimming. Water's got to be pretty cold. He's young, he don't care. This is the Eagle Creek alternate, and once you get going on it, it's the creek runs next to the trail. for the entire length, but that's once you get down to it. I've loaded up on water. I'm going to try to go another 4 miles on down to a rest spot, and I've done 17 so far, so that'll put me around 21, and that'll be a full day, and then I'll just have a few miles to go tomorrow morning to get to Cascade Locks or Hood River, depending on whichever. Anyways, this is a beautiful spot for dinner tonight. And as usual, I had it early because my legs and feet were shot, and I needed the nourishment and a break, so felt good. I'm good and rested and ready to do some more miles. This is the second bridge. I had dinner at the first one. It's almost like a canal in that section. Whereas over here it's all churning and stuff and rapids. Well, this is the wrecked bridge on Eagle Creek. It's all twisted and torn down. So I'm going to follow the new path down across the rocks and the logs and make my way back up. Here's a look from the other side. Turned out to be not a big deal. Just crossed the logs down there. Hopefully nobody was on it when it went over.